Man, it's the chronic. I don't even worry about it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Graham Construction Xfinity Series. Over here on Topp eSports, it's playoff times. I'm here with my co-host, Byron Jones, tonight. Byron, give us a little bit of a rundown on what's going on with the playoffs in this league.
Of course, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are in the playoffs round. Currently, we have, I believe, 15 drivers all lined up, looking to condense themselves down to 6 tonight. Hefty move. Top 6 are going to move on to our final race at Las Vegas. Guys got to be smart. Guys got to be fast. But really quickly, our lineup for playoffs is, in no particular order, of course, the 233 of Tony Wrestler, 61 of Anthony Zirkle, the 48 of Joe Tardif, 01 of Brian Kaufman, 77 of Seven Crawford, 41 of Sean Kastritza, 86 of Thomas Delago, 41 of Sheldon Fettig, 89 of Robert Doit, 18 of Levi McCarty. Rule Thane here is the 60, 23 of Trevor Zalesny, the 66 of Cole Thomas. Bobo, I believe, is the 006. And then, of course, the 88 of Brandon Ward. Guys are going to have to be smart tonight. It's going to be a tough race all throughout. At the end of the day, you just got to be the last one somewhere within that 6th place position tonight, Brad.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, the field is mostly made up of the playoff drivers tonight. We're coming off of the All-Star race, Byron. I mean, you know how crazy that was last week. So I'm expecting a little bit of the same. This is, of course, the shorter track here. Looking at the info for tonight, 4 extra sets of tires for these guys, 120 laps. Fuel, we're sitting at 70% fuel load for these guys, so it does make a bit of a difference. These cars do get pretty light really quickly, but other than that, I think we're just going to give a bit of a rundown here through our top 17 drivers that we have in the grid tonight. Lining up, number 1 is Levi McCarty. No surprise there. Always quick. Second place to his outside is Trevor Zalesny. Third place, Ryan Palmer. Fourth place, Mr. Robert Doig, Bomb Dude. Fifth place, Sean Kazitstra, representing that Wolf Pumps Racing team. Rule Thane to his outside in the 6th place. Sheldon Fettig with the Beef Jerky Unlimited, number 41 in 7th. Tony Wrestler, the 233 to his outside in 8th. Thomas Delago in 9th place. And rounding out your top 10 tonight is Dominic Previte. Just going to run through the rest of the field here. It's going to be Seven Crawford, Nicholas Pressey, Brian Kaufman, Joe Tardif, Jason Reef, Bobby Narberg, and actually rounding at the end of the field there is going to be Mr. Fireball Woody Woodard.
You forgot Brandon Ward, my friend. You forgot him.
Oh, yeah, it did not pull him up there for me. Brandon Ward. There we go. Got him there. Yes, sir. Rounding out that field tonight. And we do have... We're starting late afternoon, Byron. We're starting with a 2-time multiplier tonight. How do you think these cars are going to work with the transition and everything tonight?
Oh, that's a really good question. Obviously, you're going to go from a little bit tight to very, very slick, especially off new tires. Once you hit nighttime, obviously these guys got to play it smart. At the end of the day, don't wreck your car. Keep it nice and clean. Looks like we have 3 drivers that are not going to make the start. That's the 01 of Brian Kaufman, 006 of Bobby Narberg, and the 88 of Brandon Ward. Unfortunately, not going to make it, but speed and consistency is going to win you tonight's race, especially with the transition, man. You just got to be careful what the car can do. Like you said, fuel load is a huge, huge difference when it comes to something like this, but we're getting ready to go green. All the guys with yellow spoilers and banners is your playoff drivers as we are getting ready to go green. Mr. Brad Kirby.
Yeah, the car is off there. We are green here at Kansas. Levi McCarty takes off. He's got a clear track ahead of him. Trevor Zalesny working 2x2 going into turn number 1 there. Man, we are off at Kansas already. These cars are going. Remember, if you're out there, give us a follow. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, we're everywhere. Topp eSports, Topp eSports 2. Man, these cars are hauling down that backstretch. Levi McCarty already with a great lead out in front there, but the 54 and the 23 are battling it out there for second place, Byron.
Yeah, and we're starting to see it happen already early on. Guys are wanting to stay in that top lane. That's sort of the place you want to be at a track like Kansas. Then you can start maneuvering your way down maybe a little bit later in the race. Once it starts to get dark, car starts to tighten up just a bit. It allows you to get down into that corner. But you see the 23 of Trevor currently trying to track down our leader, the 18 of Levi, while the 54 of Ryan Palmer is slowly trying to close that gap within those two. But man, fastest two guys of the entire season currently running 1-2, Brad.
Yeah, and they've already got a great little run going on. A lot of single wide action. Obviously, getting some green flags in is great off the start. These guys are pretty much masters of that now throughout this season and into the playoffs. They've had a ton of time to race around each other. And pretty much the biggest battle we have going on is between the 94 right now and give it the 77 as he gets around the 233. 233 up into the wall there a little bit.
Yeah, found himself slowly moving up, man. It doesn't look like he has too much damage, which is good, especially because this is one of those tracks that you really need the aero. The aero is what's going to win you races, and luckily going to be able to keep it off there and keep his car still somewhat free-flowing. But you're going to see that happen. He's seeing now as he's currently getting in the wall once again. Guys got to be smart. Let off the gas if you need to. Don't push it. At the end of the day, this is a very, very long race. Like you said, 100 and I believe 20 laps is what you said?
Yeah, 120 laps tonight, and as you see there, Trevor Zelazny coming back on the outside of the 54 there as the 54 tries to make a lunge to his inside, but Trevor playing it smart, staying on that outside. He's going to save those tires if you're on the outside tonight. As we take a look there, beautiful banners made up for these playoff drivers tonight. We take a look further back here, Sean Kazitstra in a fight right now with Mr. Jason Reef and Dominic Previte for that 10th place position. 3 wide down the front stretch, Byron. Oh man, this is some crazy racing we're seeing already on lap number 5.
Oh man, Jason found himself all the way at the bottom. Guys gave him no room on that top lane. Kind of pinched him on down. I believe that may have been the 46 of Sean Kashita, slowly pushing him down there. Didn't give him enough room coming back up. But yeah, now you're starting to see a battle between the 1148. 11's starting to fall off now. May have burned up his tires just a tad bit early on, which could be a huge, huge game changer, especially if you can't get that thing rolling again. Now he is in the sights of the 48 of Joe Tardif. Got to be able to catch back up to him. As you say, they are also trying to track down that 233 of Tony Wrestlers. We're looking back here, 32 of Mr. Fireball Woody himself. Guy that's up here, good boogly woogly, let's go racing, as he typically would say. Currently finding himself P15 right now, Brad.
Yeah, definitely just got to throw it back to Woody there. He's trailing the field right now. He hasn't had a ton of practice, obviously been in the booth with us for the past few weeks, working a lot on the production side of things too. So big thanks to Woody, and as a treat to him, obviously we wanted him to get to race tonight. So we get Mr. Byron up in the booth. It's going to be great. Woody, we're expecting big things out of you tonight, so get that car up into that top 10. As we take a look here, Thomas Delago in the 86, one of the series sponsors for the Truck Series in that Beef Jerky Unlimited car, in a fight right now with the number 94 of Nick Pressey, and that is for 7th place.
Hey man, 7th place, I'll take it, because right now that 94 is not a playoff contender, so that's allowing this 86. He can fall back one more if he wants. I believe he currently does have that 6th place position all filled up right now. So he's sort of that last guy on that end. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to hold it. But he's the position everybody wants right now. Actually, I lied about that. 7 Crawford is going to be your last guy, because the 54 and 94 of Nicholas Pressey, those two are out of the playoffs. 7 Crawford right now going to get moved into that position. Got to be smart. Got to be mindful, though, at the same point. Can't give up whatever he loses. And he definitely can't just let people buy him, unless if he's looking for a late race run, which we could see. Now the 77 currently closing in on the 86, trying to look for the inside move. Not going to be able to. They are going to go back to single file race, and that's what it's looking like to shape up. That's what it's shaping up to look like tonight, is a ton of single file racing, Brad.
Yeah, and interesting car, of course. 7 Crawford always throwing it up to the great Pat McAfee. And actually, I just started watching Pat on YouTube and whatnot. I really didn't know much about Pat until 7 came into the league, but man, I got really into that YouTube channel, and Pat is hilarious. Like, that is one of the funniest commentators around for sure.
Man, I might have to look him up. He actually sounds pretty interesting. But as we check back into the 18 of Levi, you can see how big of that gap has been created, almost out to a second.
Yeah, sorry, Byron. Trevor Zelazny got into the wall, and he is losing a ton of time. He has fallen about 5 spots, 54 into the 86. Man. And Tommy Delago gets into the wall. Man, we are going to have some beat-up race cars tonight, Byron. Holy moly.
Yeah, that is definitely not something you want to see early on into a 120-lap race, given we're only 12 in. Guys got to play conservative, but at the same point, you got to take some risks. Maybe sometimes it gives you rewards. As you see 39, 34 going to go at it. They are both out of the playoffs right now, I believe. If I am correct, if I stand corrected, sorry, this is something that we don't fully have. We'll have to find out a way where we can actually color in the drivers to show you which one's competing in playoffs. But yeah, it's looking like Dominic Previ is not in the playoffs. I don't know. I could be wrong because he does have a yellow spoiler, but I believe that is a JDJ thing.
Yeah, Dominic, he didn't run full-time with the Xfinity this year. I know Tuesday nights he was a little bit booked up. He was more full-time with the Truck Series, so I believe, yeah, he is one of the drivers that might be out, or he could also be in based on all the happenings of today. I mean, there's a lot happening behind the scenes as we see him actually just get into the side of the 46 very slightly going into turn 1 there. But, yeah, a little confusing tonight. We're going to get better clarification, but for right now, I would say your top 6, Levi McCarty, Robert Doig, Ruel Thane, Sheldon Fettig, Nicholas Presley, and 7 Crawford are all locked in right now to the next round of the playoffs as it stands right now.
Well, there you go. Top 6 guys, top 6 positions. That's exactly what they need. Is now you see 23 of Trevor slowly starting to chug his way back along after finding himself in the fence very, very early into this race. I guess not that early, about a few laps ago. As you see 54 of Ryan Palmer now going to slap the wall. He is going to slowly start falling back. Guys are starting to slap the wall. You're starting to see it come into effect. Tires are a huge thing. You continue running that top lane, it's going to push you up there. As you see the 0-1 of Brian Kaufman, another one of your playoff contenders, missing the start. Currently on lap 5, while everybody else is on lap 16, Brad.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I believe he came out a few laps ago. I did believe we saw him come out on the backstretch there as your leaders were passing, but Brian is on the newer tires right now, and it's obviously showing. He's throwing down some great lap times. Hopefully, if we do get a couple of cautions, something will swing his way where he can get a few laps back, get on to the lead lap, and be able to contend for a top 6 position, because that's what is needed tonight to advance. I wouldn't put it past any of these non-playoff contenders to be in the top 6 at the end of this race. I think it's all going to be full of those playoff guys, so that's where you want to be for sure. As we see the 46 and 23 making slight contact off of turn 2. Trevor might have got up into that wall a little bit. Ryan Palmer, issue with Ryan Palmer here. Big issue with Ryan Palmer here. Oh man, that car is all sorts of jacked up, Byron.
We were just talking about him. Let's see if we can't go back and see what happened with the 54.
Yeah, he was in that fight with Brian Kaufman and them for that 7th place position, I believe, even though Brian was about a lap down. Ooh. But in that gaggle of cars, yeah, he just got into the wall coming off of 2.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, he got down. That inside wall is very unforgiving, really no safer barrier, and that car took some heavy, heavy damage there. But as we are now working a lap number 1 here, as most people know out there, we're well aware over here on Topp eSports, people affected by the tornado situation in the 6 states. We have a bunch of guys that were affected personally in this league tonight for sure, a lot of the drivers. So we just want to throw it up. There was a whole town that basically got leveled in Kentucky called Mayfield, and so we just want to take this time to kind of give a few laps of silence. We're gonna do this whole caution essentially under silence until the green flag comes back out. just to kind of give our bit of respect from Top Esports to the people of Mayfield, because that was a lot of destruction in that town. They did not deserve that. So, being right around Christmas time, nobody expects December tornadoes. So, from here till the green flag, we will be silent, but we will take you to some great views of these race cars. Alrighty, guys, we are back. Pace car is ducking off now. Levi McCarty is taking us to the green flag. And the green flag is back out. Lap 22. Robert Doig in second place there. Rule Thane sitting in third. Nicholas Pressey fourth place, but he's got that outside run. Outside's been sticking really, really good tonight, Byron. How much is that helping these tires tonight?
Oh, it's helping it out a ton. Obviously, running that top lane is allowing those tires not to be pushed as hard as versus running towards the bottom lane like you see in the 41 of Sheldon Fettig currently finding himself. You also see 23 of Trevor in the back there while we're looking at the 94 of Nicholas, the 89 of Robert Doig. Man, I cannot speak tonight. My apologies. Yeah, the 89 of Robert Doig is now we catch in with the 77 of Seven Crawford. One of your playoff contenders currently finding himself 6th place, but 7th in the playoff points is now he's battling 41 to Sheldon Fettig, who's going to fall on back now to 23 of Trevor. 7, one of those guys, I mean, we can say every now and again, it's a little bit rough racing around him. No, I'm just playing. Man, he's so good whatever he does. He understands the car. He knows what he needs to do. Tonight, he's got to put that into full effect and make that happen. As you see now, he's starting to move to the mid-top lane, but not really wanting to touch that bottom lane, unlike that 94 Nicholas. You see a huge battle currently going on for the second place position, Brad.
Yeah, I think for the first maybe 2, 3, 4 laps, that bottom lane, if you feel like you can really make it stick, get a few passes in, it's going to be beneficial. But I think Levi McCarty actually just smacked the wall there. But in the long run, Byron, the top side here is just going to pay off so much for those tires, and you're going to find your lap times are just so much better in the long run. Nicholas, I think he's going to have to get up soon, but he's really got a fight on his hands here because his tires are starting to wear. You can already tell after about 4 laps here, he doesn't have the momentum on the bottom side anymore. And now the 60, the 89, and the 77 are all going to come around here and try and pass him on the outside. So he's got some work to do to get back there, but he throws the block on the 89 there, and he's going to get back to the outside, luckily, this lap.
Yeah, 77 was looking below that 89 for a second, trying to see if he can sneak under him, but not going to be able to. He's now going to fall back to the 5th place position. That is your top 5 right now. Toyota, Chevy Ford, and that gets a little bit confusing. Levi, Rule, Nicholas, Robert, and 7. But as we check in with the 41 of Sheldon within this huge gaggle of cars right now, everybody currently trying to find themselves, trying to grab that position, trying to gain just a little bit more spots, especially those guys in playoffs. I hate to say it, but we're going to mention it all night.
Oh, 23
2 races, 23. Man, Trevor going to find himself in the wall again. That is twice tonight. What do you do this time?
Yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can't find that. There was quite a bit of passes going on there, but let me just see if I can't find that real quick.
His right front's all beat up just a little bit.
I think I may have found it here. Let me just take a look back here. He was battling with the 54. He got loose in the corner, and up into the wall he goes.
Man, that's something you don't see every day. Unfortunately, found himself up in that wall. Smacked it just a little. Very, very unfortunate for that 23 team. But look at this. 60 rule thing closing in on the 18 of Levi McCarty, obviously defending champion in the Truck Series, trying to find himself getting a Xfinity Series win this season, looking to make it sort of back-to-back, moving up a series. I believe he is also in playoff contention for that Truck Series too, so he's looking to defend that title. Man, he's got a lot on his plate, but 60 rule thing, one of those guys that can take that away from him. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it early on into this run, as we are now 30 laps into the race of 120. At what point do you start thinking about coming down for tires and fuel and sort of taking advantage of that and being the first guy to go down?
Well, I know if I'm Levi McCarty right now, I'm loving these green flag long runs because as we've seen all year long, if there is a guy that can make green flag runs work, it's Levi. He seems to have a control with those tires and everything and the handle of them, so he might maybe only stop one more time. We did see them all come down during that first pit stop. I'm thinking maybe he's going to probably go one more time, but you've got guys like Dominic Previte or Joe Tardif even in the back here, 11th and 13th right now, and we know those JDJ guys, they like to play the fuel strategy. They like to play different games when it comes to that. So, man, I don't know. I'm looking for maybe the top 5 to probably play the similar strategy, and then from 6 on back, man, it could just be anybody's guess, because I think as the longer this race gets going here under green, they're going to have to figure something out, because Levi is just checking out 100%.
Yeah, Levi now trying to attempt to increase the gap. As you see here, the 86 of Thomas Delago and the 46 of Sean Kashirtza currently finding themselves battling for position. That is the 7th place position, currently trying to keep ahead of the guys behind him. Man, battling at this point early on, do you want to see that happening too? And I think obviously, of course, the front runners you do, as you see though, but if you're a playoff contender, I believe both of these guys are playoff contenders. So trying to battle between each other, trying to grab that extra position. I don't know if it's worth it this early on. I think you sort of stay behind and ride along. At the end of the day, you got to be able to stretch your tires to be able to go that extra distance. Did you see the 54 of Ryan Pinnell now starting to fall back? Got a hold of the wall. He is falling back and dropping like a rock right now, Brad.
Oh man, he really got into it there. That wall is claiming some victims tonight as he's going to take it right to the apron here. Looks like he's going to probably pull it to a stop here. Not the best idea. Hopefully he gets off the track quick enough. Yeah, no cautions, thankfully. It's always pretty random when that happens. Sometimes iRacing likes to throw the caution out, but so I guess that ends Ryan Palmer's night. But looking back at the back here, Woody putting in some great laps here. I mean, he's up into 13th. He's gained 4 positions. He's ahead of Trevor Zelazny, one of the playoff drivers right now. Just kind of holding his own right now tonight, and it's great to see him putting some great green flag laps down, Byron.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, like you say, he's up in here in the booth with us a lot, enjoying the time, obviously. But at some points, you got to find yourself back down on the track. One of the advantages I had of having you and Woody up here is I had the freedom of racing trucks. Unfortunately, you may have got screwed out of this whole deal for you, Brad. But yeah, obviously Wood being able to take advantage of this and race it while he can. As you see, 23, Trevor once again in the wall. No clue what he is doing right now. He is off his game, and tonight is not the night to be off your game, off your mindset. Because like we said, playoffs narrowing down from 15 to 6 tonight is a huge gap. As you now see 46 as Sean starting to slow up just a bit. That allowed the 86 and the 41 of Sheldon Fettig and Thomas Delago to be able to get around him successfully. But man, guys are starting to drop now. Kansas starting to claim some victims. You see 46 once again in the wall. Man, guys just they can't seem to keep that thing off the wall. Tires are really, really in effect for these guys tonight.
Byron, you'd think we were at Short Track Bristol right now, or a place like Darlington, the way that they are bouncing off these walls tonight. They got to get a handle of these worn-out tires a little bit better. Maybe just letting off a little bit, but at the same time, I think all these guys are just thinking they have to get the best position that they can. So guys like Levi know it's obviously early in the race. Tommy Delago, they're playing the safe game right now, even though Levi's up in front. But he's been playing the safe game with those tires since the start. And if you know how to control this outside line, as we see Tony Wrestler, unfortunately, being another victim to that wall again down the front stretch here. But yeah, it just kind of proves my point there. Like if you don't have a handle of those turns, the exits will just bite you every time, and it's unfortunate, but you know, that's why we have 4 extra sets of tires as well to kind of play out. But 7 Crawford and 41 of Sheldon Fettig just got into it, and a lot of damage to the 41 there. Man, Byron, we're just throwing the commentator's curse. It seems anywhere we are with this camera tonight, there's always some action going on, for the better or for the worse. But, man, that was a big hit for Sheldon there.
Yeah, guys now starting to make big hits. That's something you don't really want to see, especially with, I'm going to say it, sorry, one more time, playoff contenders. 41 and 77 were both finding themselves actually battling for the playoffs, but now you see 23 of Trevor going to make his way on by. Hopefully smooth rolling between those two. You do see some right front damage on the 77. Oh, man, he's starting to get loose all over the place. Something you don't want to see, especially with his team owner sitting 2 positions back. Oh, well, 7's got to be able to pick something up now.
We definitely both know how 7 drives when you know he's dinged the wall a few times. He just starts to get that sort of way, and he just needs to calm down a little bit behind the wheel and get a handle of that car, and it'll come back to him again. But we all get a little frustrated, obviously, after tapping the wall or anything. We're all racers, and we just try and gain positions, not lose them on the racetrack. So it's always frustrating when you think you have a really good car and then that wall bites you. And Unfortunately for 7, we've seen him in the top 5, and now we've seen him now dropping behind the top 10 in 11th place. As Sheldon Fettig has now pulled it behind into the pits. He's going to go ahead and take one of his faster pairs. Going to go ahead and take 4 tires as well. May as well make this his pit stop. Not a bad idea, actually. Might be kind of undercutting them, except, he went in there with damage and pretty slow, so it's not going to work out too well for him. But I've thought maybe some people might start thinking about that undercut, Byron, and thinking maybe now that the tires have worn that much, pitting might be a great strategy to try and make up some time on Levi, because right now he's got a 1.2 second gap, and it's 2.5 seconds to 3rd place, so he's just checking out at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the rate he's going, he may be fine. But the last time these guys would pit was 19. They're only 25 laps into this run. Now you see the 11, Jason Reef, going to find himself back on the track. Hopefully, maybe he's taking the long route on down pit road. That's exactly what it looks like. Jason Reef going to pull off. That's an interesting thing. Never seen that happen before. Obviously, at 41, Sheldon Fettig, currently the first car a lap down. Got to be able to get that back at some point, especially if that means obviously getting it back once cycles happen, or hoping that a caution comes out and you're lucky dog. I don't know. I think at that point you got to hope for a lucky dog, maybe even a caution after pit stops happen, allowing him to be able to get his tires and stay on the same sequence as everybody. 48 Joe Tardif currently finding himself running the 8th place position, and I believe try and track down the 233, which is our last playoff spot right now, is the 233 of Tony Wrestler.
Yeah, and I was just painting it to Joe there, taking a look at some of the overlays that we have available and some of our in-race statistics here. They all pit on lap 19. I mentioned JDJ loves that fuel strategy game. The only one to pit after lap 19 who came back in, Joe Tardif, he came on lap 21 again to top off on fuel. We've seen it before. He's won on fuel strategy. Is that something that he might be thinking about right now, this late in the race, or this? I guess we're almost halfway into the race now.
I don't know, man. I don't really see that being a strategy. Honestly, I don't think that's going to be a true strategy, especially with how long this race really is. You think about this, coming down about lap 40 seems about the right spot, maybe 45, but with where they pitted, I would say he's actually got a really good shot of playing strategy game. He is a little bit slower than the pack, being himself, I believe, 11 seconds back from the 18, so I don't know. Maybe there's something he knows that we don't. But he's starting to fall back. Actually, I take that back. He's still being able to keep up with the leaders. I don't know, actually. I think it's honestly just trying to take those 2 extra laps of fuel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're definitely gonna find out pretty soon here. But lap 50 right now. We're gonna bring this out a few times, but right now the hardest charger of this race is Nick Pressey in that number 94, up 7 spots tonight. It's been hard to pass, but he's been somehow able to find a way to make 7 positions on track with a field of about 16 starting. It's great to see him make up 7 spots. He might not be in. Is he in the playoffs, Byron?
No. Nicholas Pressey, unfortunately, is not finding himself in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, so he would be, I think, our first non-playoff contender there in the 94.
Correct.
Yeah, so great to see him up in the top 5 position right now, even though he's not in the playoffs. But, yeah, right now he is sitting with our hard charger. We will update you later on throughout the race as that comes up.
Man, you need to make an award for the biggest flopper. You got the biggest charger and the biggest flopper. The guy that gained the most, the guy that fallen the most.
Well, I have to give that to somebody who not only made the playoffs by default today, he also lagged out before the grid. Brandon Ward. Had his shot at the championship by default today. Made it in when Kerry Moore couldn't make it into our race. Wanted to drop it, but wanted to give up his spot. Brandon was able to accept that, but unfortunately, his computer did not accept it, and he wasn't able to make grid tonight. So I would have to give that award to Mr. Brandon Ward.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for the Brandon Ward finding himself, like you said, last place. I think at the end of the day, that's not the best place you want to be. Now we see the 01, 94, and 46 starting to battle it out just a tad. 01 of Brian Kaufman still finding himself multiple laps down, I believe 10 at this point, which is very, very unfortunate for him. But 46 of Sean, 94 of Nicholas, trying to find themselves battling back and forward. 46 got better tires right now. 94, I think, is running on his last leg. It just can't be able to keep up anymore. So now you see 46 starting to shuffle on down that bottom lane. Maybe this is the point where we start seeing those guys making that move.
Yeah, for sure. And looking even back here, we got showed him a little bit closer there. Yeah, Trevor Zelazny running up on the 48 of Joe Tardif now. His tires, the fuel load now starting to be a lot less. It has different effects on different cars, and as you see there,
oh, there goes Trevor.
He is going to make his move as he made a pass on Joe Tardif, making the sharp left into the pits with Tommy DeLago there in the 86 as well. Seeing if anybody else is a taker. No, that is it for this one. Nick Pressey, issue with that car there. He just blinked out, I think.
Yep, but here comes Levi and Rule. They're going to pull themselves down.
Yep, got Robert Doig now taking over, but yeah, Levi, Rule, Sean Kazitsha, Tony Wrestler all coming down. Joe Tardif coming down, so obviously not going to play a different strategy tonight. Dominic Previte coming down. Man, all making green flag stops here. You got to make sure that you get in, get that thing woed up. We've seen it all too many times this season where guys get a little too antsy and end up with a black flag at the end of a pit stop for speeding. So with green flag runs the way they are tonight, you definitely don't want to get hit with that tonight, Byron.
Yeah, you got to be perfect down pit road. I think at the end of the day, that's what you have to be. If you're not perfect down pit road, then you can pretty much kiss the rest of the race goodbye, because you're not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the pack, let alone if you go down too early. Yes, she'll be a little bit ahead. That's fine. You go down too late, you're going to find yourself falling back more. But if you don't get it woed up, man, just black flags all around. You're going to have to wait there. You're going to lose a lap because of it. With the way these guys have been running and their tendencies, we haven't really had multiple caution races lately, knocking on wood over here. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, you just got to be consistent, got to be smooth, and got to know where to woe up. One of those guys that can do it perfectly is the 18 of Levi. But man, 41 of Sheldon Fettig going to be able to claim the lead as of right now.
And if you'll remember a little bit back, he was involved in that incident with Seven Crawford. He pit on lap 42. We kind of talked about a bit of an undercut. Didn't think it would work for the 41 being that far back and with that much damage that he had, limping it into the pits. But man, he came back strong on those new set of tires and able to take the lead, albeit on 13 lap older tires. But if this continues, if he can keep the lead from Levi right now and get about 10 laps on Levi's tires, they may kind of wear in the same, and they might be on the same kind of plateau. But man, Levi is catching him pretty quickly here. He's only 0.3 off on that lap there. And last lap's time, actually Levi running about 0.6 faster than Levi on that last lap. So Levi only a matter of time as they go down the backstretch here. Levi taking the bottom lane and going to easily get by that 41.
Yeah, Levi taking it with absolutely no care in the world. 41 to Sheldon made it look like it was just a parking lot. Levi was rolling his way through, but now you see the 60 of Rule Thane starting to catch the 41. These guys, three-way battle currently for the first place position, but they are all spread out evenly. 4/10 divides all three of them from each other. And now here comes the 60. 60 slowly going to start railing in that 41. Once he gets there, he's going to get around him with ease. Like you said, 13 lap difference. I think that's affecting the car way too much. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say it, 41 just needs to be within the top 6. That's all he needs. If he can stay within the top 6, he's got playoffs locked. He's heading over to Vegas. He's going to roll his dice. We'll have to see. Maybe he's already trying to roll his dice preemptively, trying to receive that money once he walks into Vegas. We'll have to see. But here you saw 32 of Fireball Woody going to pull it off of pit road too. So sorry, Brad. Did not mean to interrupt you.
No, all good. I feel definitely like that was a good move for Sheldon at the end of the day. I mean, obviously he didn't want to be in that incident, but I think it kind of paid off for him here on this run in particular because of how spread out it is on track. But man, if I'm looking here, second place through fifth place right now, all beef jerky unlimited drivers. Rule Thane, Sheldon Fettig, Robert Doig, and Thomas Delago back there in the 86, rounding out your top 5.
Huh. That's kind of interesting. Obviously, those 4 were all working the entire season to get themselves into playoffs. They did it. Now they're trying to be 4 out of those 6 guys in the final round, which could work out to their advantage and sort of could be the final straw. Or maybe Levi or 7 or maybe a few others.
I would definitely compare that to a Hendrick team dominance right there. Trevor Zelazny, looking back here in 6th, he's able to work his way back up from that incident earlier. And now he is working back into a playoff spot as well for the next round. So great job for him. Sean Kazitstra working back there in 7th. 7 Crawford able to make a strong comeback there. 8th place after a couple of small incidents for him. Tony Wrestler got that car all repaired. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch, creepiest looking back end I've ever seen, I swear. But makes me hungry every time. Sitting back there in the 9th place. And Joe Tardif rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, you got pretty much a Chevy domination except for 3 cars, which is your Toyota and 2 Fords. So I don't know. Maybe Chevys are going to be able to outpower the Toyota tonight. You never know, man. At the end of the day, I think the 18, if he stays with what he's doing, he'll be just fine. But I just saw here Mr. Signature Esports is rating us, man. Got some help from Mr. Good Old Jason. Much appreciated. But yeah, 18 of Levi now stretching his gap out to a 2.5, while Robert Doig has fallen back almost 4 seconds. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I was looking for Sheldon Fettig, the 41 Sheldon Fettig, now finding himself all the way back in the 4th place position. So dropping like a box of rocks or a box of potatoes, however you like to put it. I don't know, man. Not finding my words, first of all. But yeah, 65 laps into this 120-lap race, a little over halfway. At what point do you decide maybe it's time to find yourself on down pit road, maybe another time? Because at this point, tires are now starting to come into effect for this 41.
Yeah, so the 41 pit last on lap 42. I would be expecting him anytime around lap 70. Probably 70 to 75. If he might be on one more stop strategy, he might stretch it to 80, but that's about where I think those tires are going to take him, is about 70 or 75, which is about 5 laps from now. Big time shout out though to Jason out there for the raid. If you're new to the world of Facebook gaming or Twitch gaming, Signature Esports is your go-to. Man, that guy has tutorial videos on how to get you set up streaming. He has some amazing streaming content on there, some of the best on iRacing that I've seen. We were fortunate to work with him for another number of weeks with this league here, and he taught us a ton. So if you get a chance, go drop a like, a follow, go raid his channel on Twitch. Go check him out on Facebook, throw him some stars on Facebook, do whatever you can to support that channel because yeah, he's got amazing content. He wants to keep growing like we do, so we see the vision like he does.
Yeah, currently finding ourselves getting closer and closer to the 70 lap excavation, as you would, well, not excavation because this for points, man. I'm really out of it tonight, Brad. I am so sorry about that,
Well,
man.
hey,
I
what?
don't know what's going on.
Why don't we take a 1 minute break? We've been going now for 70 laps of this race under green pretty much this whole time, and haven't even thought about paying the bills. So let's go ahead and pay those bills with a couple commercials, Byron. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our commercials brought to you by Wolf Pumps. Go check out Wolf Pumps for all your dry sump pump needs for racing, street applications, you name it. Also, go and check out Martin Sports for all your apparel needs. Great West Apparel Company out of Michigan. Awesome guy to deal with. Yeah, just go help out some of these guys that support iRacing and support the community and help us do what we do.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, the one big thanks we got to give to is our two main sponsors. Obviously, you got Beef Jerky supporting the truck size. Man, blinked out on that truck side. And then you got the Graham Construction over on our side. Currently for tonight's race, Graham Construction Company serving Middle and West Tennessee for all your general contracting needs for all residential, custom homes, and light commercial. Call 901-301-8268 and call for Kerry Moore. Man, Kerry, obviously one of those guys, had to, unfortunately, I think he took a step back for the rest of the season. Said he enjoyed, obviously, racing with us, enjoys being a sponsor. Man, I hope he comes back very, very soon. It's always a pleasure being around that 84 of Kerry Moore. Kind of surprising it actually rhymes, and I love it. But yeah, one of those guys that dearly, dearly miss already on the track. But as we check in here, enough worrying about off the track. We got to worry about what's on the track right now, and that's the 23 of Trevor, finding himself 6th place position and the last place currently that is locked up for Las Vegas. 23 Trevor just got to be able to continue what he does, and boom, he has that position locked in, and he gets to go roll his dice at Vegas, hoping that he gets a shot at it, while the 46 of Sean is trying to track him down to make sure he can go roll the dice. I don't know. You think Sean's going to be able to catch him? Obviously, with I would say, I can't do math fast enough, 45-ish laps left in the race.
Well, here's the thing. We know this league has a lot of late race cautions that do pop up. Sean is a hard racer. He has gotten better and better since the time he started in this league. He's just improved every week. He's been a race winner. He's proven he can get to the playoffs. I almost have no doubt in my mind that he can get up there. He is the closest right now to that group at a second back. Tony Wrestler's who I'm a little bit more worried about right now. He's about 5 seconds back from that group right now, sitting there in the 8th place, and also Joe Tardif as well. I don't know what kind of strategy he's going to have to play to get himself up there, but, the top 6 right there, in my eyes, have already proven why they should be there, but there's still 4 guys outside there that also could make it. So I wouldn't put it past it. Like I say, late race cautions could change anything. I don't expect Seven Crawford to want to be back there in 10th place for very long, or Dominic Previte in 11th. Dominic, even though he's not in the playoffs, he came here to win. I know that he comes here to win every week, and he's gonna want the best finish he can get for JDJ, but ultimately, it's going to be hard to beat Levi. It's going to be hard to take second place away from Rule. If anybody can do it right now, it's got to be Sean Kazistra if it stays green.
Yeah, Sean Kazistra, obviously, he's one of those guys that, you name it, I'm sure he can do it. As you see, 41 is Sheldon Fettig actually coming on down pit road, so he's going to cycle out maybe your next set of pit stops. Yep, there you go. It's coming on out right now, so we should see in the next 5 laps, we should start seeing cycles happening once again, and it could be our last stop. It may not. With 70% fuel, guys gotta be able to stretch the field. Joe Tardif, just saying.
Trevor Zelazny taking that 23 down now. Look for Joe probably to try some sort of strategy here, I think. But if I'm Sheldon Fettig, that was a big time stretch. I said about 75, around that lap. He did stretch it to 80, but that might be enough to get him to the end. When these guys cycle around, he's hoping to probably keep it in the top 6 at the end of this race.
Most definitely. And that's where you have to be. Obviously, with the 23 of Trevor taking a huge jump like he did, coming down so early, and nobody else budging, I don't know, man. He may have called it way too early. I think it may have been an early call with this only being 70%. It's not our typical 80. Well, I guess not our typical, but the typical 80 to 100% that most leagues run on a daily basis. Typically is what they run. Obviously, we're a little bit different. Yeah. And I like different. I like to see the strategies that come into play.
Well, we gave these guys, with the Xfinity Series, we like to give them 4 sets of tires for that reason. You might, on tracks like these where it's a little bit rougher on the tires, you might see guys try and do maybe 1 extra pit stop. It might add a couple extra 30 seconds to your lap, but at the end of the day, those new tires are so invaluable that they are paying off big time, and we're seeing that this race. So I wouldn't pull it past Sheldon Fettig, Trevor Zelazny to be on some sort of fuel strategy to the end of this race. I don't think that they're hoping, that the tires are going to make it, but I don't know. That was only a 25 lap run. That was pretty shallow run there. I don't like that move personally by Trevor, but I think for Sheldon, he had to do what he had to do. I think he was pretty much running on empty. But for Levi now, he's got to think about that because now 2 guys have pit, and they're obviously going to be a lot faster. So he's got to be thinking maybe pitting soon. But he did just lap that 39 car, and that's pretty wild because we don't see Dominic Previte getting lapped too often.
Oh, no, of course not. Obviously, yeah. Like you said, Dominic, one of those fast guys that we see happening. As you see, he's going through the grass right now. Oh, he did keep it saved. So it did not fully throw him out. Man, that would have been very, very bad.
Let's go back and take a look at that. He just got into the wall. We've seen it all night long, coming off of 4. And man, fantastic save.
I would have never thought I would have saw something like that. The 39 of Dominic being able to save that race car. Excellent job by him. I haven't seen very many people be able to do that as of lately, and he definitely took advantage of it. and was able to save it. Obviously, thought it's going to tear up his tires just a tad bit. Now you see 77 of 7. Crawford in the 7th place. Nope, just playing. He's in the 8th place position, pulling on down pit road. But the one guy that's refusing to budge is the 18 of Levi, refusing to pull it on down pit road. He's going to get every last drop of gas into that car that he can.
Yeah, and they all pit on lap 55. I still feel like, as we see Rule Thane, Robert Doig coming down, there's the Beef Jerky Unlimited guys pulling off for their last pit stop. I still feel like he could get another couple laps out of this, but now that the 2nd and 3rd place guys have pit, that's going to change everything. Levi is going to have to come down here probably this lap.
Don't budge. You don't need the budge. If they can't make it on fuel, no sense in giving it. And maybe lap 90 is the sweet spot. Maybe lap 90 is that spot where you need to come on down pit road. Typically 30 laps, that actually sounds about right. Because first run, we got up to 19-20. Everybody came on down pit road. After that, everybody came on down pit road at 55. After that, everybody came on down pit road at about 85. So that's our typical trend. Just saying.
Taking a shallow run into 3 and 4 here. Byron looks like he's diving down. Yep, apron here, and
lap
he is
90.
Gonna go ahead and take his last pit stop.
Just saying. I am just saying. Lap 90, 30 laps. This could be our winner right here. Is the 18 of Levi, or can it be the 48 of Joe Tardif? Another one of those fuel savers that we haven't paid attention to, alongside the 46 of Sean Kashritza and the 39 of Dominic Previte. Those are our last few standing. As you see Joe going to make that low turn. He's actually going to stay out. This is really, really surprising, considering his lap times around the track right now is a 33.6, while everybody else is running 31.0s, 32.1s. I don't know. At what point do you realize you got to come on down now if you're the 48?
Well, if there is one master of fuel strategy, it is Joe Tardif. I will give it to that man. It doesn't even look like he's going to come down this lap either. He probably played it pretty well. He's pretty good with that pedal. He knows how to work it. I don't know how long I'd be staying out here, because you are going to lose a ton of time once you do eventually pit, but I kind of like the strategy for Joe. I mean, he's kind of got a Hail Mary situation right now. He would have been close to being lapped as well. So
I believe he was in about 10th too, so he was well out of the playoff spot.
Yeah, him and Dominic Previte pretty well have to try something different. But yeah, here he comes down, lap number 91, going on lap number 92. Bobo just getting pretty close to him there. That also could have been spooking that 48 from coming down, because Bob was running that low line pretty tight. So, but you do see the 48 coming down, giving up the lead to Rule Thane eventually here. That's something that we definitely need to talk about right now, because Rule Thane has taken the lead away from Levi McCartney on lap number 92.
Yeah. Rule Thane, of course, one of those guys that we never expect to see come from absolutely nowhere. He's got Beef Jerky on the side of his car. His other teammates a little bit further back, about 4th, 5th place position, even 6th place position. But yeah, obviously the one to talk about is the 60 of Rule. And man, he's being able to drive away with it. But 18 is just chugging along. He wants that position back.
Yeah, for sure. Levi is not going to give up. He knows he's only got 25 laps to do it right now, but gentlemen, you guys are both locked into this race. Don't do anything to jeopardize it at this stage of the race. As they go past Joe Tardif, they're going to go ahead and put him a lap down. Obviously, the strategy is not going to work out for him tonight unless we can get a yellow, but yeah, he's getting close to Rule now. Really putting some pressure onto the back end of that 60 going into turn 1 and 2, Byron.
Yeah, 18 now trying to close that gap even closer, trying to get around him, trying to sort of figure out what he needs to do, as now they're coming up on the 77 of 7 Crawford. That will put him up to 9th place that they have lapped down. These guys are just chugging along while finding themselves battling side by side. Not yet fully, but here comes the 18. looking for the run on the inside, not going to be able to create any sort of momentum through the tri-oval. But here we go, 1 and 2. This is going to be the spot to pass if you can do it. 18 started going to stay calm, stay in line behind the 60. Smart move by the 18 of Levi McCarty right now.
This is going to be a real test of that 18 right now because he's been running that high line pretty well the whole night. Hasn't been having to make really any passes on the bottom, so we're going to see how well that car really works. As you see the 48 of Joe Tardif on new tires, able to get under the 18 as Rule Thane able to pass the 77. Look at the gap now. He's able to put out up in front of Levi using those lap cars.
Yeah, Levi tried using that top lane, trying to use up the 77, but now you see battle side by side, 60, 48. This is not what he wants to see, but this is exactly what Levi wants to see. Joe now successfully going to be able to unlap himself, but man, Levi not going to give up, but that 77-7 may play some sort of role in this whole battle, unless if he does back off just a tad, which is looking like is going to happen. But the question is now, as soon as you start catching more and more lap cars, at what point does it truly become a battle? We've seen Levi in the position where he's found himself second, trying to get first, but he's been held up by lap cars. Doesn't happen again tonight when it matters. Or is he okay with taking a second place? Obviously still locking himself into the playoffs. And as we get closer here, we are getting close to reaching lap 100. So, man, we're almost there.
I think if you're the 18 right now, that's what you got to think of, the big picture. You are locked in as of right now. And speaking of being locked in, let's take a look back here at your battle for the 6th place position. Not much of a battle as the 86 has a 2-second lead over Sean Kazitscher right now. And Sean's going to have to do something big to get himself into that final championship race.
Of course. Yeah, got to make any move he can. But, no. The 233 of Tony's got to get on his horse, man, if he wants to catch that 41 of Sheldon. Almost a second and a half out from that 41, but 41 pit way in front of everybody else. And he could be one of those guys, but we are rounding 3 and 4. Unfortunately, about the tornadoes, we were talking about the deaths happening, about 100 total counted. We want to take this one for them.
That battle really heating up as we go down the backstretch of lap number 101 going to lap 102 here. Levi McCarty trying to find any way he can around that 60. Doing what he, what can he pull out of that bag right now, Byron? I mean, it seems like the tires have sort of evened out. Levi doesn't seem like he wants to make that move yet to the bottom side. Do you think he's got the car to make a move to the bottom side right now, or do you think it's only going to be good enough up top?
Oh no, I think he's got the perfect car to make the move at the bottom, but he wants to wait to make sure it's a perfect time. Obviously, he's seeing right now this 60 or Rule Thane is, I would say, close, if not faster than this 18. So he's got to play it smart. He's got to know when to take advantage of it. As we're looking at the 41 of Sheldon, the 46 of Sean Kastritza.
The battle.
This is for the last place. But lock-in, sorry.
No, all good. Yeah, the battle for 6th is on. 2 seconds back, a couple laps ago, turns into not much of a gap now as the 233.46 and the 41 come off of turn number 4. Throw in the 94 for fun as well. But the 46 and the 41 are the two to keep your eyes on, and they are the ones battling for that last place in the playoffs right now.
Man, that 94 may came down just a tad bit early on that 233, kind of cut off his air for a second. I don't know if that's something you want to see with the way this 94 is racing these guys, knowing that this is for position, knowing that they need to be able to do something to lock themselves into the next round. 46 is Sean, 94 giving a little bit of a shove. Here comes the 23 of Trevor. He's going to pull it on down pit road. Interesting play by the 23, obviously forming a new team next season. But now he's finding himself down pit road, and potential final round playoff hope could be gone very, very late in this race, Brad.
Yeah, definitely, and actually this is shaking it right up, because now both Sean Kazisha and Sheldon Fettig would both be locked in right now, and Joe Tardif is actually only 2 positions back, albeit about 10 seconds back from that battle, but man, still a big battle here going on. Sean Kazisha is going to not stop at that 6th place. He wants to keep going. He wants to get Tommy DeLago. He's going to try and get that 4th place, but man, Nick Pressey, even though he's a lap down, he's pouring it on right now. Actually, give it 5 laps down, but he is pouring it on right now. But he's really got to give these guys some room that are in the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely. He was able to make it quick, though, on a few guys, which is okay. But here you see 233 and the 41 getting ready to go at it for a battle. And that is inevitably the last place. The last lock-in right now is that 41 and where he stands. 233 looking to get around him on that bottom lane. Of course, that's where he was searching very, very early on in this battle, as they almost made slight contact. 233 trying everything he can. One of those guys, he won Darlington in the truck series. Actually, I believe, yeah, it was the truck series. Able to get in on here in points. Can he be able to lock himself into the round of 6? We'll have to see. We're nearing 13 to go. I'm sorry, we are at 13 to go, nearing 12 to go left in this race, Brad.
Yeah, and up front, things have changed again. Levi McCarty able to make a move on Rule Thane. Rule not having much in terms of tires left, and Levi was eventually able to make that move, but not much is changing up there. Sean still working on Tommy DeLago for 4th place. Tony Wrestler and Sheldon Fettig locked in that massive battle right now. This is where we want to keep our eyes for the next couple laps, because this is where potentially we could see a big shakeup in the playoffs, and possibly one of those Beef Jerky Unlimited guys getting kicked out.
Yeah, like we keep seeing this tire difference on the 41 and on the 233. 10 laps. As now you see the move on the inside for that 233. Trying to get around him. Will the 41 clip the wall out of the corner? No, but the 233 going to be able to get him on pure speed. Here we go. 233 now going to get around the 6th place. He is now your locked-in driver. I don't know. I think at this point, if a caution comes out, that's the only saving grace for the 41, 48, and 77 alongside that 23. I don't know at this point. I think it's almost inevitable of who's going to be able to claim that, with knowing that Tony's 2 seconds between him and the 46 of Sean. He's got to be smooth, got to be consistent at this point. As you see, 41 effect starting to come, and his tires are they're starting to fall off a lot.
Yeah, this is something, I know we saw the 23 pit. We could see some more pit stops. I know there's only 10 laps to go, but we do see the tires really starting to give these guys a hard time. Man, this is what hard racing is all about. As we see Sean Kazitsha able to make a move on the 86 for that 4th place finally. He worked hard for that one. He was on the outside looking in about 10, 20 laps ago, and now he's well locked in that 4th place position.
Yeah, being able to lock in that 4th place gives you breathing room now. Now, the 86 of Thomas is sort of on the chopping block saying, hey, if Sheldon or Joe can get around Tony, if both of them can get around, I got to worry about me and what I'm going to be able to do. Because if I start falling back, these two are going to catch me, pass me, then I'm screwed. Or maybe 233 catches the 86. Now that puts the 86 even more on the chopping block, because that's between him and the 41. But as we're looking at the 18 of Levi, clicking off the last 7 laps in this race, as I would say almost, I guess I'm going to say it, dominant performance he has had this entire race. You see 77-7 Crawford sliding through the grass. Just drove like that was a Joker lap or something. Said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this Joker lap, turn right to go left, and found himself flipping through the grass. But great save by the 77. That's going to put him now behind the 48 of Joe Tardif. Only one that can really create any sort of friction is the 23 of Trevor, and that's providing he can even keep up with speed. And I don't know. I think the 233, 86, 46, 89, 60, and 18 could be your final 6. Obviously, once again, knocking on wood, hoping that obviously we don't create a late race caution like most typically do. But we are nearing 5 to go, Brad.
Yeah, those are the 6 guys right now that have definitely played this whole race the right way. I mean, hats off to all of them right now for being in that top 6, putting themselves in this position. But yeah, pretty much from 8th on back are a lap down at this point here. So Levi right now putting it on cruise control, 4.5 laps to go. I don't think pitting's going to be an issue. I really don't think gas is an issue for these guys. They're just they know that they're pretty much going to be locked in here. Let's take it back to Thomas DeLago here, as he's pretty much our closest battle with Sean Kazitstra, 3/10, but not much of a battle going on there. Tony Wrestler able to get well ahead of Sheldon Fettig. Sheldon Fettig is now 9 seconds back from Tony Wrestler. So looks like your top 6 is pretty set, Byron.
Nah, don't say that just yet. I just saw this. Keep eyes on this 86 as laps are closing down. Last time he came down was 83. I don't think we've really seen anyone being able to stretch the field that far. He could be a potential out of fuel last second. Here comes the 41 Sheldon Fettig. He's going to pull on down pit road. Late race move by him. Man, I'm telling you, this 48 of Joe Tardif could snag this last position, providing how this 86 goes about these last 3 laps in the race.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as he is now battling with the 46. I mean, if he was definitely down on fuel, you wouldn't want to see this. You'd think he'd just kind of concede and take the position and just kind of save gas. But, man, I'm seeing 2 laps to go. They're just racing hard here, Byron. Like, I don't know if gas is going to be an issue tonight. I think this is pretty well good here. Like, Levi McCarty has put it into cruise. 1.3 laps to go. About a lap to go here as we're going to cross the line and take our Peaches Gentlemen's Club white flag of the evening. First playoff race. And that 18 has looked smooth the whole night, start to finish. Right from practice, when he unloaded that car, he has just been so fast. Nobody's been able to really touch him. The 60's been close, but not close enough. 2.3 seconds is the gap as he heads down into turn 3 and turn 4. Your Graham Construction Xfinity playoff winner, Levi McCarty in that 18 car.
How about that? You're already starting to see the little wiggles in that 18. Gonna be able to claim it, but that's not it. 60 rule thing. 89 of Robert Doig. 86 of Thomas DeLago. 46 of Sean Kastritz as they come through. 3 and 4. 86 smacked the wall just a little bit. And then, of course, the 233 of Tony. 86 going to move a little bit up. There you go. 2 more. 233 of Tony Wrestler going to be your final lock-ins. That's going to be all your playoff drivers that are going to find themselves competing at Las Vegas next week.
And big hats off to that 233 Tony Wrestler. You're going to be one happy dude. I already can see it. The big smiles for sure. Man, I know that top 5, you know, they ran pretty well top 5 all night. That 233, man, he worked for it that whole night. And good for him for getting that final position. But once again here, hats off to that 18 car, putting it down all night long, looking like a champion already. The 60 car of Ruel Thane, the 89 of Robert Doig, just doing great jobs. Really happy for Robert Doig as well. Didn't have a great run in the modified race on Saturday night, but he came back here in the playoff race for the Graham Construction Xfinity Series. Really great. Byron, any last thoughts before we bring these guys up here?
Oh man, I don't know. That was such a huge whirlwind for a few of these drivers. Obviously, the 23 of Trevor, 41 of Sheldon, 48 of Joe Tardif, missing it by one position. 77 of Seven Crawford, the 006 of Bobby, and of course the 01 of Brian Kaufman and the 88 of Brandon I Blink will hit the wall, may lag out before the race even starts. Ward going to unfortunately not being able to start the race tonight. Ah, man, very, very unfortunate for a select few of these drivers. But I'll tell you what, right now, we got three happy campers up here in the booth.
Yeah, and let's start with our third place finisher, Mr. Robert Doig. Bomb Dude, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
Oh, that was an excellent race to watch. A lot of strategy being played. At times, you thought maybe we saw the top six locked in, and then it would just get thrown into complete disarray. So, but obviously, you had a great race start to finish. Just take us through a little bit.
Yeah, thanks. We did have a pretty good race. I think after that first pit stop, I went an extra lap more than Levi and Rule did, and that kind of put me behind the eight ball there, and I never could catch him. And congrats to Levi. He just smoked the field tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't seem like anyone had much for Levi. Maybe Rule a little bit there, but at the end, he put about 2.5 seconds on second place, and it was pretty much all that 18 tonight. But man, Robert, you made the top six. You're gonna go into the championship race to race for the title. What are your thoughts about that going into next week?
Yeah, we're excited about that for sure. I think what's the next? Where track we at next?
We're going to Vegas actually for the championship race.
Oh, yay, that ought to be a good one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've got some momentum on our side over the last 3-4 weeks, and I guess Rule will be in there. I think Tommy D made it also, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, it looks like we got 3 of the Beef Jerky Unlimited guys in there, so some strong competition for sure. You make up about half of that top 6, so it's going to be interesting. But anybody that you want to give a shout out to tonight before we let you go?
Heck yeah, as always, you guys for putting on the stream, and also for Beef Jerky Unlimited, and of course Tommy. You know, it's his first race back after a short hiatus, and we're happy to have him here and get him qualified in the playoffs. So we'll see you at Vegas.
Yeah, definitely. And congratulations, my friend, on an awesome third place finish tonight. That was Robert Doig, everybody, and Byron is standing by with Rule.
Of course, man, Rule Thane, one of those guys being able, trying to hold off the 18, let's put it that way, in the last few laps of the race. He was unfortunately able to get around you, and Levi was able to snag the win. But man, one heck of a race for you, one heck of a lock-in, and a heck of a way to do it, man. Walk us through this entire race.
Oh man, I was driving over my head just trying to keep up with Levi. It was it was not working. So I followed him so long, and I think he was just really toying with me. I'd cool my tires off and then try to make another run and start gaining. He just drive away. So I knew I had to play some strategy. So I tried to short pit him, and I did get out in front of him, but there's no way. He was just too fast, and then I got into the wall just trying to overdrive the car just to stay ahead of him. But yeah, once he got around me, we were all racing for second at that point. So I just fell in line and let it play out, big picture, see if I can get him next week.
Well, you know, you got a shot to get him next week. You got a shot to lock in your championship. The Xfinity Championship would be the very first one for this league. Obviously, walking into a track like that, there's probably going to be a lot of preparing. And, of course, your teammates that got in, I'm sure you guys are probably going to be looking at a strategy to be able to get one of you guys in victory lane, or at least the top dog within the top 6 next week.
Yeah, I predict Tommy's going to have a real run next week. He's going to be hard to beat in Vegas, I think. But we'll see. You know, I want to thank Beef Jerky Unlimited and you guys so much for it's been a fun league. I've had a blast in here. So Really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Before we let you go, I know you got those two. You got anybody else you'd like shout out?
Oh, I always think Netflix. It gives my girlfriend something to do. So while I'm racing, that's just give them a shout out. Appreciate
Give
them
that
very
man a
much.
sponsorship. Give that man a sponsorship.
I
They need
love
to give me
it.
money.
There you go. Netflix to hold your ladies off while you're racing around the track. There's your slogan, man. Once again, congrats on your P2 tonight, Rule.
Thank you guys so much.
And
There you go.
I am here with your winner tonight, Levi. Man, you put on a heck of a show. Obviously, you just had the dominant car start to finish. Pretty much rolled off in practice fast. Just take us through tonight and give us a little insight on how you were so fast tonight.
Honestly, I have no idea. I've been working a lot. I didn't get a lot of time to practice. I kind of rolled in a little bit late tonight, later than I wanted to, and I didn't really figure it out until probably about halfway through the second run. I got my throttle points pretty good, and was able to keep a second or so. I would have killed for a crew chief tonight. It is hard running that high line and trying to figure out fuel and when to pit and if anybody's running the low line and who's fast. It was tough on me, but it was a fun run. I got a lot of respect for both of these guys, second and third. They ran a heck of a race as well. Really bummed about Rule getting into the wall there on that last run. That was some of the most fun I've had on iRacing in a while, just trying to figure out how I was going to get by him. I tried to go down a little bit or exit a little bit lower, get some clean air on the nose, and it was going to be interesting to see how it was going to play out there. So it was fun. It was a blast, as always.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely seemed like your only bit of competition tonight was that little battle with Rule. But, man, talking about next week now in Vegas, 3 Beef Jerky Unlimited guys on that team. We got Sean Kazisha, we got Tony Wrestler, and we got you. What are your thoughts on next week, and what are you going to do to win this championship, Levi?
It's going to be tough. The Beef Jerky guys are really good at Las Vegas. Nonetheless, I'll probably just set up for the short run. I mean, that'll probably be my only chance, and, see what I can do. If not, it is what it is. Driving these Xfinity cars this series, as much as I've hated them, they've definitely made me a better iRacer and a better driver. So for that, I can be thankful. But it's been a fun year all around. I want to thank Fairfield Motorsports, Fairfield Auto Group, Fletcher he threw together the playoff paint for me tonight. So I appreciate that. Graham Construction, Beef Jerky Unlimited, and then Topp eSports and all the admin team.
Well, that was your winner tonight. Congratulations, my friend, and we hope nothing but the best for next week and in your quest for the cup. But Byron, man, a lot of green flag racing tonight, more than we've seen all year long. A lot of strategy that we haven't got to see all year long getting played out tonight. But your thoughts going to Vegas next week, my friend?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think that one's going to be a cluster. Obviously, having to deal with now, you got a ton of fast guys that aren't competing in this final 6, and then you got a ton of fast guys that are in the final 6. I think it's going to make a huge clash, especially being in the Xfinity cars. Obviously, they can't go full speed, but they sure can get pretty darn close to it. And I think the late runs is going to be a huge key factor in who's going to separate your winners versus your average Joes. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see. It's all going to go down right here next week. But it ain't over for us this week. We still got the Beef Jerky Unlimited Truck Series tomorrow, plus your off-season modified tour on Saturday, man.
Yeah, you can catch us definitely tomorrow night for another action-packed playoff race. Going to be the Truck Series, of course, and 15 more drivers battling for 6 spots. That's going to be at Auto Club Speedway, so a 2-mile track. Byron, you're going to be racing. Woody's going to be with me in the booth tomorrow night. It's going to be a blast, honestly. The modifieds are definitely a ways off of being in the playoffs, so This will be my little bit of fun before Christmas for sure. We're going to be crowning a champion before Christmas, which is going to be great. But yeah, from all of us over here at Topp eSports, we're going to sign it off tonight. I'm Brad Kirby, joined by my buddy Byron Jones, and we've had a blast tonight. Thank you, all of the fans, for tuning in tonight. Remember, if you can, go give to the American Red Cross. Any blood that you can donate for sure is much needed. But for now, we're out. Have a great night, folks, and we hope you enjoyed.